In progress. I'd like to call the November 14th, 2023 Village of Lake Park Council meeting to order. Please bow your heads for the invocation. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I would like to give thanks this evening for the opportunity you have given me to serve the Village of Lake Park these past 14 years. We are very grateful for the opportunity that we have to live and to serve in a place such as the Village of Lake Park. I would like to ask that you provide wisdom and guidance to our new leaders in the coming years. We thank you that we have the freedom to come together this evening to discuss the business of our village in an open and public forum. Help us to govern in a fair, civilized, and unbiased manner, serving all the residents of our community. Be with our leaders at all levels of government and throughout the world. Where there is division, bring unity and peace. We ask a special blessing for all the people living in war-torn countries at this time. We ask that you be with those in our community that are ill or are suffering the recent loss of family or loved ones. As we celebrated Veterans Day this past weekend, we are especially indebted to those men and women who have given the ultimate sacrifice so that we may enjoy this freedom. We ask a special blessing for the men and women that currently serve our country in our military services, both here and abroad. We also ask for your protection for all the men and women that daily put their lives on the line as police, firemen, and in other capacities to protect our lives and property. All these things we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
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 As you are able, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, has anyone signed up for public comment? No public comment. In your packet that Sri sent out last week, there were the minutes from the October 10th, 2023 regular session. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
Mark has made the motion, Bruce has seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Minutes have been approved. We also received the agenda for this evening, which was updated yesterday. Are there any requested changes to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Steve has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark has seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. The agenda has been approved. All right, we're happy to have Deputy Brian Bailey with us this evening. Give us an update on security in the village.
Sure, yeah. So, last month, everything went really well, nothing to speak of that's really significant. We had a very good amount of traffic stops last month, as well as other preventative measures throughout the village. So, worked really hard to be present and take enforcement action when needed, but nothing too significant to speak of.
Okay. Any questions for Deputy Bailey?
I'd like to say that I've noticed, I've been around here for a long time and I've seen a lot of really good officers here, but you guys are really being well noticed. Thank you. It's good to see you out there as much as we do. I noticed during the fall festival, there was, I don't know if you were on duty or if it was, the presence was well known, and that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to second that. There's hardly a day that goes by that I don't see one of you out driving around the village someplace or the other. And usually when I'm walking the dogs, but I don't know if you're locked into my schedule or not, but I almost always see just about every day.
So making sure you're cleaning up after your dog.
That's what it is. There's been complaints on it. I would like to say that I've received several complaints from the same resident about the blue BMW that driving up and down Conifer and revving their engine and letting it pop, 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 pop.
Oh, yeah.
So if, kind of keep an eye out for that one, appreciate it.
Yes, Mayor.
Anything else for Deputy?
Good job.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Yep.
All right,
Cheryl? You're on. That's nice.
I noticed in the packet, there was a refund request for Logic for $616.73. Is that correct, Cheryl?
Yes.
This is an overpayment on tax.
Right.
Okay. So a motion to approve a refund of $616.73 to Logic.
I'll make the motion.
Bruce has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Steve has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion is carried. Last week or last month, we talked about the resolution authorizing electronic payments. Council really didn't have a chance to look this over before the meeting, and then we asked our attorney to review it, and
I'm still reviewing it. I have done some work with it, but I haven't completed it. I should have sent that out to you guys a few days ago. I apologize for not having done that, but I'm not finished with it. I will be by the next meeting.
okay. Appreciate that. There's no time deadline on that. But if we would like you
Yes,
to
sir.
implement. Okay. Anything else, Cheryl?
I'm just looking at the October reports, which, you should have. Don't think there's any real problems. We're looking good. Do you want to talk about stormwater now? or-
No, we'll talk about that on stormwater.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't have anything there.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to stormwater. Good medium. Kind of got caught off guard on the stormwater budget. We realized it after the meeting last month. We had budgeted for maintenance on the stormwater budget for this year, $59,720. What probably slipped through was that we made a motion and approved in June to complete the Cref Circle storm drain, which was $30,840. But we said, we'll take it out of the next fiscal year budget. So we approved the money in June to be spent in this year's budget. So as we were going along, approving some of these other projects, catway stations, broken pipe on Trevor Simpson, and most significantly, the Veterans Pond shoreline for $42,000. And then some repairs to the bank on Lake Charles. We actually have a negative balance here of $31,540. So we need to correct that by moving funds out of the general fund. It's my recommendation that we move it out of the general fund, but we tag it for ARP as an ARP expenditure. And my recommendation, we've got another little project on the next slide. My recommendation is that we probably should move about $50,000 so that we have enough money in there if we need some more waste bags or a small project comes up, because we've got 7 months to go in this fiscal year. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
It's early in the year, so we're gonna need more money, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if we have.
Hopefully that's all we need.
If we have a big project coming up, we'll have to appropriate more money out of the general fund, but, you know, if we want to cover what we have here, plus, have a little money left in there for some small projects. So I'd like to entertain a motion to appropriate $50,000 out of the general fund into the stormwater maintenance budget.
I'll make that motion.
Joe has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Speaking of small project, Lucas did, some significant repairs to the bank on Lake Charles to correct some erosion down there. They laid, Bermuda sod, from the pier towards Faith Church Road and then a little bit along Faith Church Road. Those are the two slides at the bottom of this, slide. But there also is a need to correct some of the erosion on the other side of the pier, the left side going down towards the curb. Lucas has given us a quote of $4,125 to do that. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve that project.
I'll make that motion.
Joe has made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Then seconded. Any discussion or questions about that? All those in favor of repairing the erosion on Lake Charles for $4,125, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Okay, moving on to Park and Recreation, Jeremy.
Steve, we'll jump right in with you.
Sure, Founder's Park gazebo, it's been refinished, that refinishing has been completed now, looks much better. We do have, you know, some cracks that's still in there, they can't repair or fix, but they did the best they could do with it for right now. It's probably something we'll have to maintain until we decide one day to replace it or take it down or what we decide to do with it. I think Joe's working on, Councilman Scardera, Joe's working on some lighting for it down there now, maybe stay in there.
I'm
for a
ready
while.
to start getting on that now.
Okay. But thank you to Bar Builders for taking care of that for us. That was a big task, so.
It looks really nice. I was down there this afternoon.
The next slide is community center, interior painting. We got a number of different quotes for interior painting the community center. We're going back with one solid color at the bottom, a little bit two-tone. You know, we had something here from Frontline, which was quoted back last April, but he asked me to pull that for right now. He's no longer has the painter that quoted that for him working underneath him, so we pulled that for right now. Quintana Painting gave us a quote, $3,800 labor plus the estimated cost of the paint. He's estimating that to be 40 gallons at $40 each, so approximately $1,600. The reason he did it that way is because I asked him, I guess, what, August, September, and said we're not gonna do it till next year. You know, so he was like, I don't know how much paint it'll be in January, December, whatever. So let's quote it that way. Bar Builders quoted $10,480, and Groovy Hughes had quoted $11,406. At our last Parks and Rec meeting, it was recommended to go with Quintana Painting for up to $6,000 to cover any additional cost of paint or anything that comes out of that.
You'll make a motion to do that?
So I'll make a motion to do that.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving up $6,000 for Quintana Painting to paint the interior of the community center, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried.
The next is the community center rear door replacements. We'd asked sometime back for M2 to give us a quote on that. That's the guy that did the pool doors for us back in, gosh, what was it, May now, I think it was. The doors are starting to rot down at the bottom for the three that hadn't been replaced in a while. He first gave us a quote for 2 doors, which was around $5,000. He came back out, looked at it again and said, okay, I think we probably need to do all 3 of them. So he's come back with 3 doors, fiberglass doors, plus fixing the door, the passageway from the kitchen to the rental room. He's gonna take that sliding door out and put doors like we have in the office up there. So he's come back with a total budget of $7,200. So I think we had in our budget, our plan, 5,000, is that right, Jeremy?
Yeah, 5750.
Yeah, 5750, so we would need some additional funds there as well. So we need a budget amendment for $1,500.
You have that in Park and Rec someplace that you. Miscellaneous or anything, or
We can wait until, I mean, we can pull it out of there and do a budget amendment later in the year out of park maintenance. It's coming out of the park maintenance line item. There's usually some stuff in there that, you know, the clearing of snow or snow removal, and there's usually some dollars there, so I'm fine if we just wait. We can do a budget amendment now and pull that money, you know, from fund balance into park maintenance, or we can wait till later on and see where we come with that. But just know that it will be, the quote's off because we had it at the door that we didn't plan to do back in April.
Okay. I'll make a motion to have that work done, Steve.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to have the work done from M2 Construction for $7,200.
Okay, have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Joe has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving $7,200 for the community door replacement, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried.
Topic number 10 here is the community center carpet replacement in the chambers. So we worked through 3 different bids on that. We had Lynn here in the neighborhood propose a bid on that. We're looking at carpet tiles, not just the stretch carpet like we have now. So if something gets damaged, they could take it up and replace it. So Lynn had his quote on it of $2,751. Mullis carpet was $3,206, and Presley's flooring was $2,085. So I'd like to recommend to approve the $2,085 for carpet replacement in this room. We want to get that done before we paint too, or probably vice versa. Which way
Other way around,
Yeah, the other way around.
First carpet,
We want to get it all fixed.
Is that the way they're doing commercial carpeting now, is mainly in squares?
So you can replace
Yeah,
just.
you can replace whatever section you want to.
Durability wise, it's good.
Durability wise, yeah. It's what all the offices go with now. Like uptown, that's what we went with.
Steve, when they replace it, do they leave extra carpet squares here?
Yeah, you can get extra carpet squares.
At the time, that's included? in
Yeah,
there?
it should be included in there.
All right, Is there any way to find out for sure?
I will. I know Lynn included in his price, but I'll verify it.
We have a motion to approve $2,085 for carpet replacement in council chambers. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark has seconded. Any discussion?
One piece of discussion I would add is similar to the item before this. We budgeted $1,250 blindly because we couldn't get anybody out there to give us a quote. So it's $800 off, which I felt comfortable would be in park maintenance. So I wasn't even bringing up a budget amendment for this one. But again, at the end of as we get towards the end of the year, we'll have to address it if possible.
Okay, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried.
Under item E, the landscaping upgrades, basically all those are complete. The last piece, well, second to the last piece of that happened today. Kiker Tree came out and cut down the 9 trees along Conifer. So Lucas still will come out probably when they do the Lake Charles work. I talked to Scott Stahl this evening. When they do the Lake Charles work, they'll cut down those tree rings and seed and straw those 9 areas. That will be the last bit of landscaping upgrades. I don't know if you've been over and saw across the street there. I think it looks really good at the clock tower and everywhere else. There's been a lot of positive comments about the work we did this year. So
We did also, if I can add to you, we budgeted some money in that project for electrical work, which was, as we got down to it, it's not that bad in there. So we're not gonna have to do anything. That was the 2 outlets that are actually in good condition that we can get to now, so.
Did they get my tree planted?
I didn't ride by there today. And I didn't think
Because I
that-
didn't check this, I checked this morning and it wasn't there, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll look tonight. Under events, the American Red Cross Blood Drive back on October 22nd. I've got there were 36 appointment slots available. 15 actually got filled. They collected 15 usable pints of blood product, and there were 4 first-time donors. It was one of probably the worst turnout, I would say, since Mark's been.
I would agree with that. And they opened up this new center over in 74, which I believe has taken a hit to us. And we have basically 2 families here, which have at least 3 people in the family that generally give, and they were not able to come this time, of course, some family matters outside of town. And so we hope to have a better one here at the upcoming one in July or January.
Mark, I appreciate all your work with that. And the 2024 proposed drive dates were approved by Park and Rec. Sheree already checked the calendar and they were available. Those are the 4 dates you see there before you. Toys for Tots Drive did begin November 1st, and I think we've had a fairly active drive with people bringing stuff in.
We had one
still
box
early. So he will be at our tree lighting over in December and should have a good year. Speaking of the tree lighting, Park and Rec is recommending the approval for $5,625 for the tree lighting. That's $1,200 for a donut and hot chocolate truck, $33.50 for the carousel, $450 for incidentals, $625 for the events coordinator. And that's all within the budget numbers that we're putting together for the year. I do need to do a little budget amendment to move $750 from event services to food and provision events for some few little things we've got coming up, which has nothing to do with this slide. I just stuck it there.
So move 750.
From event services to food and provisions events.
Need a motion for that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll make a motion. Yeah, make that budget amendment.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move $750 from event services to food and provision events. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
And then I would make a motion to approve up to $5,625 for the Christmas tree lighting event.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Steve is seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving $5,625 for the Christmas tree lighting event, signify by saying aye. Opposed, the same.
And I should have said, that Lori broke down the expenses for the HOA, and it's almost 50-50. They're spending just about the same amount of money we are with the carriage rides and other little things that they do out there too. So it really is about a 50-50 event.
With the carousel, where's that gonna be set up?
It'll be down there in the park, just
So we
like we
won't
did
have to
last
close the
year.
road?
No.
Okay, just wanna
Um,
make sure.
Well, they'll close the roads. We didn't close the roads for the horse and carriages either, I don't think. 'Cause
No.
they come there. It'll be down in there and it's the same recreational services. We'll get all the paperwork over.
You probably should close Meeting Street, don't you think? From one
Isn't
side.
that where
trip
you
to-
loaded last year? They,
That's where
HOA
you
loaded?
loaded. Yeah,
Yeah, we can, probably should close meeting between.
yeah,
Clifton
we
Creek
haven't
just
done that. We probably should do that.
That's fine. Make a motion to do that, Steve.
I'll make a motion to do it. Close Meeting Street that day, whatever it is,
December 3rd.
December 3rd.
Okay, we have a motion to close Meeting Street for the Christmas tree lightings events on December 3rd. Is there a second?
Also,
Jeremy has seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
and our next meeting is November 27th, and we don't have any huge topics that are on the horizon yet, so just general items.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Jeremy. Planning board has been working for quite some time on some text amendments to the Unified Development Ordinance. The changes were sent out again in the packet. Most of the changes have to do with fences and walls, and the general summary of those changes is to add a definition for the walls into the UDO, to differentiate the ordinance between walls and fences. Sometimes there's a different guideline for a wall than there is for a fence. In some cases, they were able to incorporate the terminology to include both walls and fences. A couple other significant changes is to change the accessory structure lot coverage to 35% of the lot instead of what previously was, I think, 30% of the primary.
Of the footprint of the house.
Of the primary, yeah, of the house. This gives a lot more flexibility to the homeowner to add pools or storage buildings, that type of thing. And finally, the recommended change to the wooden fence airflow to 20% of the fence area instead of 40%. Previously, with 40%, you have a wood fence, it have 40% of it open. You can almost let your dog walk through it in some cases. So I think these are some good changes that they've recommended. Any questions about this? Y'all have a chance to look at it.
Is there any certain item that was driving the lot size change to 35?
Yes, if we don't make that change, one of the things that we discovered is that no one else can ever put a pool in their yard in Lake Park. So that's really, that was the big thing.
So we turn anybody down as asked to put a pool in because they didn't have that much?
No, because your zoning administrator did not realize until we had someone that was literally putting everything on top of itself.
Mhm.
And at that point, yes, I had to turn down. It's also easier when you say 35% of the lot, that's gonna include your patio, a shed, a greenhouse, a swimming pool, an outdoor kitchen. All of those things will count toward your 35%. But you'll have more. A lot of these houses, the footprint, it can be a big 2-story house, but the footprint is only the first floor. It's not based on square footage. So you've got some of the bigger lots that can't have but a certain amount of space.
It didn't say footprint, but it said something different, right? But I mean, I know that's what it meant was footprint.
Yeah, it
but,
says
you know.
square footage of the primary, but
It's
it's,
a little bit vague. It's the primary,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, what does that really mean, right?
yeah, it's
So
just the
that could really get us in
downstairs.
trouble either way, right? So,
Uh-huh. The limit is that down, because like I said, especially you can look at the houses on Lake Park Road. If you're not counting your upstairs, that's really not, because it only takes up that percentage of the lot.
Right.
You're really limiting any of those homes to swimming pools.
Is this 35% of the lot, is that pretty standard verbiage or not necessarily? That's just.
It is, I mean, you can have a percentage of lot. Some places don't even address percentage of lot because they have 1-acre lots. But these lots are smaller, and the one thing you don't want to have though is storage building, they just have them all over the lot. So 35% prevents that. You also have to have 10 feet between the back of the house and the structure that you're building. And if you were to have 2 structures, you've got to have, if you had a deck and a pool, there has to be 10 feet between those.
Any other thoughts or comments on this? The next step would be to call for a public hearing. Typically, we would call for a public hearing at the next council meeting. But since we have the induction of our officers in December, it's probably more appropriate to defer that to January.
I like the idea of that too, because with something like this, you got a couple of questions. If you had any other questions, you could attend a planning board meeting and put them to the members of the planning board, because there was a lot of discussion about these changes in various ways. One of the ways you mentioned, mayor-elect, is that the percentages, there was actually an assessment. You have a surveyor on that board, and he went out and looked at every lot and assessed whether or not some of your districts might have to be 20%, and another district 35%, and another district 40%, or whether it was best to keep it all uniform. And they had those kinds of discussions. They could answer those kinds of questions for you if you wanted to. I think it's probably a good idea to give it a couple of sessions for the board, council members, if they wanted to ask questions directly to the board, they could.
Yeah, this has been going on for quite some time, so there's not an urgency here to try and, get this taken care of next month. So,
As an aside too, which doesn't need to be said in the public hearing, you're losing the chair to the planning board and the board of adjustment. Mr. Gaines stepping down, and he's a good chair. You're losing a good chair. I'm sure you'll be able to replace him if they find people on there, but you're losing somebody good.
So, would entertain a motion to call for a public hearing on the UDO text amendments at, beginning of the next council meeting or the council meeting in January.
I'll make that motion.
Joe has made the motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Bruce has seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those the same. Motion is carried. All right, Joe, what's going on with ordinance review committee?
Well, we got our next meeting next Monday, the 20th. We got a couple things. First off, golf cart stickers. I spoke with Jim today. He's working on that. We're getting that together. I did speak with Deputy Hunlin the other day about the inspection process. He said he's going to get in touch with Indian Trail Deputy Kennery, who is the head of their program, just to get a rundown of how it works. So we're on pace to be able to start issuing them on December 1st. So we'll have golf cart licenses on December 1st. Like I said, our next meeting's on November 20th. One of the other, there's been two issues that have been brought up to Cherie that she's brought up to me that we might have to go back in through our ordinances. I'm going to discuss some changes. One of them, we're having some dirt bike issues. And it looks like we have nothing that says that they can't ride their dirt bikes on the sidewalks. So we're gonna have to come up with what we are and aren't gonna allow. The last thing we wanna do is stop a little kid with one of those self-powered, battery-powered, motorcycles, saying they have to ride those on the street. So we're gonna have to come up with our options of whether it's size of engine, gasoline powered, or what. So that's the first thing we'll be looking at. There's also some parking issues with what our definition of commercial vehicles are. Appears that a lot of people think that just because a car or a truck has a sign on it, automatically becomes a commercial vehicle, which is not necessarily the case. And we want to go back through and spell that out a little bit better so that we can kind of control some of the complaining there.
In the parking ordinance.
Okay. We get in the parking ordinance. So we're going to discuss how we're going to address all those issues.
Very good. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you. Public services, Bruce, update on streets and sidewalks.
The only thing that's going on right now is that people now know who I am. Hello. So I'm getting emails about sidewalk issues, which I have responded to and have to get out and inspect yet. I've gotten I'd say about 14 inquiries. Yeah.
Wow.
Before that it was, who am I?
Be careful what you wish for.
What's that?
Be careful what you wish for.
I know. It's all Mark's fault. He helped us. Outside of that, the only other thing is, Josh sent the video of the pipe, from Esther through the Creft and down to the pond. There's no cracks, there's no breaks. So the only issue is where it's settled on Creft. The storm drain, although it's not block, it looks to be solid concrete in there, so. At this point in time, I'd say, leave it be. Why create an issue when there is no issue?
We've been having winter stormwater.
No, we really don't. But this worked out on the good side for a change.
And the striping is done on Krebs.
That's all done, and, I even sent a thank you to the residents on Crest for taking the time to move all their vehicles, there was only one that did not move. And that car was there before we started, it was there during, and it was there 3 days after. So, and it was on a temporary South Carolina plate. So I don't know, if it was somebody visiting and went on vacation with them or something, but and then it was gone.
Is that the one that got striping across the hood?
Yeah, we did that, we put a big X on the roof.
A little overspray.
But no, that worked out well.
Thank you. Appreciate you doing all that.
No problem.
Okay, Joe, we've got lighting.
Flagpole light we've been talking about for a while, kind of slipped through my mind. So I ordered it a while back, but it was on back order. Jeremy had somebody email him about it over the weekend. I checked into it today, or actually yesterday and today, checked into it, found another vendor that has one. It's ordered. She had it next week.
Is this for the light?
For the light over here on the flagpole that's there. I've got a temporary solar light on there. I don't know if that's still not working good or I mean, it's enough to say there's a light. but that's about it. You can't see, it's not lighting the flag at all, but, you know, it's enough to say we did something, we tried something. So that should be fixed next week. One thing I didn't put on the slide there, we are back to our own amplifier on the clock tower. Finally got it back from repair and got it put in, so I got something for my home theater system again too, so we got that all working. And we're probably gonna have to do, just FYI, coming soon, something with the fixtures at the entrance on Lake Park. They're something with them, they're burning up bulbs in there. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with it, but the bulbs work for about 2 months in there, and then they just start flickering. These LED bulbs, I guess the heat that's created in them, something's not right. So I'm not having that issue with any other fixtures. I gotta figure out what's going on there.
All right, thank you. And technology, Joe.
Okay, well, the virtual assistant, we're still at a standstill. Spectrum has been nothing short of totally disappointing on this. They have done nothing they've said, and I think Cherie's about ready to go Cherie on.
Yeah.
That's gonna start tomorrow, and we'll find out how that all works out. So hopefully we get that done. Maybe first of the year, we can get that all set, you know? Not sure, it's a little irritating. The original Ring Central that I set up, I kept that, I maintained it so that I can just transfer over everything, you know, all the work that I did on it, but we paid $90 now on that, almost $100 on keeping that, just so that we can have it without it being usable, because it's not into the system, because we stopped doing what we were doing because of them. So we're gonna ask for something out of them for that as well. Hopefully we can have that soon. As far as the YouTube channel goes, the last meeting, we had 62 unique views. 30 people have subscribed to the channel, so come tomorrow when I post this video, they will get alerts that a new video is out. We spoke to a lot of people on election day that really liked it, so it was nice to be able to check it and look at it and see it. You know, those are people that are watching it apparently, so a lot of them came up to me and told me they liked that, so it's working out well.
Okay, very good. All right, moving on to communications. Mark, what do you got for the newsletter this month?
Well, some of the stuff we just talked about, push the video and some of the other stuff we've had. Other than that, does anyone have any suggestions coming up?
The election results.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And I would encourage you again to put, apparently people cannot access lakeparknc.gov and see waste collection guidelines. So encourage them to go there and look, whether they need to bag clear, brown, cut it in certain lengths. We continue to have that opportunity.
You haven't put that on the sites lately
Yeah.
because it's a season for it. Okay.
And also, please remind people to make sure they're, you know, if we start getting rain with the amount of leaves and everything, make sure, you know, the storm drain in front of their house,
Keep it clear.
keep them clear. We can hope for rain.
Okay. Anyone else?
Anybody else got anything for?
December 12th council meeting at 6 p.m. We're gonna have a public retirement social from Mayor Cleveland for the public. So we want to advertise that in the newsletter and online.
December one?
It'll be the December 12th council meeting, so we need to go in this newsletter.
Be from
Felt like
6
we had
to
the
7.
spaghetti dinner last time too.
No, it's gonna be punch,
Yeah.
some hors d'oeuvres and
For the public.
yeah, big for the public for
6 p.m.
6 to 7.
Drop in.
Should also be a welcome for new council members, perhaps.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
Jim, you're allowed.
But you guys will play the punch. That's Spike.
All the fun.
There you go.
All righty. You gotta do it.
Okay. Been doing a great job on the newsletter. Really appreciate the work you put into that.
Thank you.
They look great.
He keeps teasing us about this Italian restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
You're a bad. Tell us.
Well, I want them to get the thunder of announcing it,
Right.
the name and what they're gonna have. So, I don't break that out there. The owners are members of the page, so they are on there, so they see my little sneaky snuff and everything, yeah.
They hope to be open before the end of the year, but we'll see.
They have to be.
No, they
Oh,
hope.
yeah, they're hoping to be, yeah. Just say they do. Is that
That's in the deal, man.
the ordinance?
That's in the deal.
So, yeah, every once in a while that keeps popping back up with somebody with another thing. Yeah. That's good.
Next, I'd like to have a motion to go into closed session. There's a motion.
I'll make a motion to go into a closed session.
Steve has made a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Mark has seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.